What's up? Today we are going to guess every NBA team's all-time leader in triple doubles. We're also going to talk about the latest in Draymond Green watch. We are going to talk about whether defense has actually gotten worse since the 90s, and we are going to rank the best NBA duos right after this intro. Hit it, Casey.
The following is a presentation of the Playback Sports Media Network.
All right, we're back. A little hiatus last week. We're busy dudes. Casey, I think you got a game for us.
I do, yeah. I mean, just getting right into it. I mean, right off of a week off. You know, we deserved that week off, I thought, John. But yeah, let's get right into this game. Yeah. We are guessing we are guessing the leading triple-double scorer, I guess you could still say, yeah.
Most person with the most triple doubles
of every NBA franchise all time. Here it is, John. So this is a quiz that I found. I didn't make this myself. Sometimes we make them ourselves. I don't have any control over this one. The person who made this decided we get 5 minutes, no more, no less.
Hot dang, dude. That's not very much.
It's going to be fast and furious. I mean, we have a chance to kind of look at it right now. As soon as I type into here, I think it starts, or maybe when I click into there. So we'll get started here in just a second. So I'm going to type. So John, just rifle these at me. I mean, this is pretty much solo exercise for you. If I think of somebody, maybe I'll just toss it in there too. But okay. I mean, you're going to be able to, as I'm typing, you're going to be able to think more. But anyway, we'll figure it out. We got 5 minutes. Let's try to make it all count. Okay. Got numbers here for players too. It looks like so that should be a little bit of a help, right? No years,
I guess.
All right. How you want to make a prediction? How many?
What am I looking at?
The franchises: ATL, Brooklyn. The number of triple doubles, it looks like.
Okay.
And then their jersey number.
Their jersey number. Oh,
I mean, that's
going to make me feel worse when I don't get most of these.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to feel terrible, but that's okay. This quiz was made to feel terrible, I think. So, all right, John, are you ready?
Are most of these dudes going to just be old ass players?
I think that there's going to be some, probably. Yeah. Right. But I don't think they'll all be old players.
Okay. All right, let's do this.
All right, bro. I've never said that to you before. Nice.
Yeah.
That was weird. Brew. I didn't enjoy it, really.
Yeah.
Brew. Thank you, Brew. All right. All right, John. On your mark. Get set. Go. I'm going to start us off with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Now it's you. Now take it from here, John.
I can just say them. Okay. Yeah. Memphis number 12, John Morant.
Morant. Nice.
Cool.
Nice. Oh, we got to have Magic Johnson on here, right? Maybe even get lucky with another Johnson.
Yep.
Nice.
Magic. Ooh. Yeah. Miami number 11. Is that Jimmy Butler?
Got LeBron James. I'm just Butler.
Yep.
Got him.
Atlanta number I don't know that one. Don't go in order. 59. Yeah. Boston is what number? Number 33. Is that Larry Bird?
Bird. It's a good guess. Nice. Let's just throw out
Dallas number 77 is Luka.
Nice. Oh, that they won't take that. Oops.
DONCIC. Yeah, there you go.
I got there. Oh, wait. There's got to be.
There's 3 Clippers.
I don't know for sure, but hey, Wilt on there. That's good.
There's 3 Clippers. Is that what that says?
Wait, where are you seeing that? Oh, LAC, yeah, it looks like
LAC.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay. And then Houston number 13 is James Harden.
Oh, good one. Good pull.
San Antonio number 5. Check Robinson and Duncan for San Antonio.
No Robinson, it looks like. Maybe Duncan. No. Let's see.
Number 5, DeJounte Murray.
Just name. Yeah, nice. Good pull.
Portland number 22, Clyde Drexler.
Nice. John, killing it.
Phoenix number 32. Is it Jason Kidd's number? I think Kidd might lead a few. Kidd might lead a few. Yeah, he did. He led Brooklyn as well.
Nice. John killing it here.
Utah number what's Utah's number? Is it Stockton?
I tried him, but no.
No. It's Maravich.
Utah's number is 7.
It's Maravich.
Ooh, how do I spell that?
Maravich.
Nice.
Um,
Spelling too. We got 2.5 half times over. We're doing pretty good.
Sacramento Kings. Okay, Toronto number 7 is Kyle Lowry.
Nice.
The Clippers are throwing me off, dude. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get them. Oh, you already got Jordan, right?
The Kings is a ton, dude. Who could have had that many?
Oh, it's got to be somebody old.
Old, or like
Yeah.
Mike Bibby?
No effing way.
I'm just saying time frame wise.
Yeah, nobody in anything even close to the modern era does that. Big O, Oscar Robertson. I was
gonna say I'd put in another.
Dude, he might be the all-time leader before Russ was. Golden State number 23. It's not Wilt. Who would be number 23 on Golden State? Oh, for Nuggets, check Jokic. I bet Jokic is it.
Oh, it's got to be Jokic. Come on.
Minnesota 21 is Minnesota 21 Kevin Garnett.
Ooh.
Milwaukee
Nice.
number 34 is Giannis. It's ANT. Oh, dude. You might have to just
I'll look that up.
Knicks number 10. I want to say Walt Frazier for the Knicks.
Sorry. Got
you good?
Sidetracked, but this is the hell of a name. Hey, we got it. We got there. Who did you say? Frazier?
I want to say Walt Frazier for the Knicks.
Nice.
Dude,
got it.
Okay, so Golden State's number 23. Is it Draymond Green?
No way.
He is.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it more big guys, maybe? Who are some all-time bigs?
We got New Orleans left. Orlando. It's not Shaq.
Like,
Shaq doesn't assist.
No Shaq, right?
You can try Shaq, but it's
no.
I don't know how to spell his last name. Who are we missing? Detroit
Pelicans,
number
17
30,
seconds. Charlotte.
Detroit number 33, Grant Hill. Put in Hill. Knicks was Walt Frazier. You said that. And then
shot in the dark.
Try Sabonis for Indiana. Oh, dang it. It was Sabonis.
Was it? I had it going. Well, we got that one.
Oh, I missed Chris Paul in New Orleans. Dang it.
Oh,
okay. Mookie Blaylock, I was never going to get that.
5 out of 30. Oh, Mookie Blaylock was elite in NBA Jams 99.
Mookie Blaylock, I was never going to get. Alfred Payton, I was never going to get. He's Orlando's all-time leading triple-double. Okay, and then Blake Griffin and Lamar. I would have never got that Clippers duo or trio. Blake Griffin, Lamar Odom, and Bob Kaufman. I would have never guessed any of those guys.
That's gross, dude.
There's only 7. That's the leader. Like the Clippers franchise leader is 7. That sucks. They're not good.
7 triple doubles. Not elite. Elite. How did you like that snipe at the end of LaMelo Ball? I was like 1, or actually, I read it wrong. And I was thinking, there's only 1. Then it could be anybody. Let me just throw out a random Hornet, and I got it.
No,
but
it's 10. Yeah,
I know, but I got it. I got it anyway. Logic was wrong. Got there,
but you still got it.
We
missed the Sabonis snipe because you were typing it, but it's all right. We wouldn't have got both of them. We couldn't have got both of them.
Yeah, well, and we were there in spirit. I think I had Sabonis halfway typed, but that's not really the game, I guess. Yeah. But I will say we both outperformed what I thought we'd get. I thought I would get maybe 1 or 2, and I think I had more than that.
Only ones
I thought you would get 15, maybe. That was
the only ones I'm disappointed I didn't get are Sabonis and Chris Paul, which you said, we got Sabonis in spirit, but I'm disappointed I did not get Chris Paul in New Orleans. That was a give me, especially number 3, New Orleans number 3. I should have known that one.
Did you say give me like the proper?
That was a give me.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I say that was a give? That was a give me.
That was a give me, which is just too formal.
Give it to me.
That's what you say if you go to a nice dinner.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Put that finger up and let's stop. This is the end of that joke. Let's do that as the
Ooh.
end of that joke.
Okay. All right.
All right, what else you got for us,
Yeah.
Casey?
What else
We got
do I
some
have
We got some
indeed?
Dre Watch. Dre Watch 23. Sorry, Dre Watch 24 now.
It is 24. All right, let me pull this guy down here.
Yeah, more stuff has been. I liked how it was just silent for a little while. You know, like for a
Yeah.
while we just didn't hear anything from Draymond Green or about Draymond Green, and I was like, this is nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And now
right.
it's like, oh, he's like, I'm back. I'm podcasting again. Yeah.
Just for the holidays, just
Yeah.
for New Year's, just a nice little. He
A
made a
little
resolution to be out of the news for like a week, and
right.
now he's back.
Yeah. I think he just had to pretend he went to therapy or something like that. But
Probably. All right. So this comes from Bleacher Report. Warriors Draymond Green very confident I can remove antics after NBA suspension. I'll just kind of read this. This is a really short article anyway.
okay.
To get us into this. Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green told reporters that he can cut out the antics that ultimately led to the NBA suspending him for 12 games. Okay, maybe. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I actually
I mean,
pulled these.
what is he gonna be like? Nope, can't do it. Can't stop. I can't stop. I have to hit people.
Yeah. These we'll come back to these tweets. I actually pulled up the tweets as well. So Green also expressed disappointment in himself for letting a host of people down, which we'll get to that in a sec here.
Yeah.
Green was initially suspended indefinitely after he struck Phoenix Suns center Yusuf Nurkic in the face. Per the league, the suspension took Green's repeated history of unsportsmanlike acts into account. He's been a piece of shit for a real long time.
Yep.
So the league was like, man, come on, bro. Yeah, pretty much. All right. So I did pull up these tweets as well so we could see these replies. This first one comes from Mark J. Spears. Draymond says, I'm very confident I can remove the antics. Added that was his focus, not changing the spot on a leopard. So
I've been a piece of shit for a real long time. I can stop being. I can change. I swear.
I could, but also I'm not going to change. I don't know. I'm not going to change my spots. It's a weird.
But I'm a leopard.
It's a really weird way to.
It turns out leopards and
home.
Panthers are the same thing, buddy. Just paint yourself a different color.
That's it. You can't get. You can paint yourself black like a panther. You can't get in trouble for blackface when you're already black. The antics can go, and I made a commitment to make sure they don't creep in. Green said. That's the follow-up tweet there.
He's really,
lot of
positivity. Is it Draymond who's using the word antics so much? He's like really into. He's like, it's my word of the week. You know, I got toilet paper for Christmas that has a word of the week on it, and that's the word of the week.
That's pretty much it. By the way, I didn't realize this till just now. This Mark J. Spears, obviously some kind of credible source. Otherwise, I don't know why he's involved in the article. But I was like, lots of positivity. I did check out this ahead of time. Like, lots of positivity. I realized there wasn't a lot of engagement. I did not realize every single reply came from the same person.
Yeah.
Ayat here, big Draymond fan, wants to see him perform his best. Green is amazing. What a sad thing by Green. Let's just move on to the next thing here. This was the next thing in the article from Anthony Slater. Draymond Green said it's a point.
You might have to switch your tab.
Good call, John. Anthony Slater tweeted Draymond. He X'd out.
He X'd it. He got all up in that X.
Draymond said it's a point of emphasis for him to not cross the line with officials. Antics isn't something that got me here. He's repeatedly used the word antics and said he is confident he can cut those out while remaining the same player.
Yeah.
These
so
are
it is
the
his
real
word.
replies we
want.
want.
It is his word of the week.
Or other people have been saying it and he picked it up. I don't know. But these are the real replies that I think we needed to see. A lot of talk. Better show it on the court. I'm very interested to see how long this lasts with Draymond laughing gif. And yeah, I'm going to post this here so it's easy to come back to. I think Dre is going to be a huge part of this team going on a run and getting into the 3 to 7 seed range going into the playoffs. A lot of casual fans watch the box scores and don't realize how important he is to the team.
That's actually a pretty good take. I don't know that I believe that they would get that high, but that is true. He's like super impactful to the Warriors in very like non-statsy kind of ways. Non-statsy is definitely a word. I didn't make it up.
I completely agree. One last tweet here, then I'll get your final thoughts on this, John. Draymond Green says he was letting so many people down, including people outside of the coaches and teammates who work for the Warriors organization. Green says so many livelihoods are riding on the Warriors' success and added that he cares about people, which I'll at least commend him for this part. Oh, I like that.
I care about people and stuff.
It's all no. it all is bullshit, honestly. I think it's all just say what you need to say to get back in. But this,
Of course. Yeah.
whether it was told to him by Silver or the Warriors or whoever, this at least is like hitting the right notes. I think it's kind of performative, obviously,
Yeah.
but I like that it's going beyond the coaches and the players and talking about the people, because there's hundreds, thousands of people who are impacted by somebody just being reckless out there. So,
Right.
one last comment here. I've always enjoyed the way he plays the game minus the meltdowns. He's such a tired act, though. I feel like he's marketing himself for his future in television, to be honest. Kind of agree.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he belongs or if he believes anything he says any longer. I'm having a tough time reading these days. I don't know what that's about. But
Reading is
John, my
hard.
questions to you, first and foremost, do you believe that Draymond Green can change his antics at all? Forget about the whole big cat spot analogy. Is he going to look different out there at all in any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form?
Yeah, he will. I think he's probably under. I think to a degree he's under control. It's like I don't know. When you're like a kid and you do the same crap all the time, you get in trouble
Yeah.
for it, and then your dad comes home. You've been doing the same thing all day, and then dad comes home, and your dad's like, "Do that again, we'll whip your ass." You're like,
Yeah.
you don't do it again after that. Like you're like, Mom just told me a bunch of times, said
Right.
maybe she put me in timeout. But dad, he gave me one warning, and then next time he's gonna whoop my ass, and it. So yes, I do think that we will see, like the remainder of this season at least. He probably won't get into too much
Yeah.
trouble. Yeah, but if I'm every NBA team, I'm baiting him. I'm going after Steph. I'm pushing people around. Because I'm like, I know you're enforcer.
Smart.
What's he gonna do? You gonna go over to the bench while I'm getting into something with Steph? Like, no,
Yeah.
he's not. Right.
Right. In the
So
heat of the
yeah,
moment, he'll never be able to pull back, even if he wants to.
that's
I
my
liked
other
your
point
analogy.
about him. Yeah, go ahead.
I liked your analogy of the kid. I like it way better than the big cat analogy. Him being a kid because he's acting like a little kid a lot of
Yeah.
times. I was thinking something similar. And another follow up question I was going to ask you was, if Draymond Green was a child out at recess, right? Like which kid is he? Like, describe what he would be doing. Like, you had the kid who was like, on the little spinny thing, because we had unsafe playgrounds back in the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
was he out there
The-
balling? Was
by
he out
unsafe,
there?
by unsafe? Do you mean fun? Because yeah,
Yeah,
that is. Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, are you gonna take the boring answer like he was just hooping out on the
No. He is the kid. I've said this before. He's the kid who's like, people think he's tough because he gets in like quick fights right by the teacher,
Mm.
um, or like, like just stuff that, when he knows it's going to get broken up quick, or he goes and like, pushes someone off of the like, jungle gym, and hurts them when they're not expecting it or whatever. It's like people have this weird illusion that like, oh yeah, he's tough. But if you actually like look at each individual incident, it's like, he never fights. He always does something that he knows like nobody's going to be able to defend themselves. Nobody's going to be able to hit him back or anything like that.
That's exactly what it feels like. He's got that bulletproof kind of feeling to him. He's like, yeah, I'm the bully, but like nobody's ever going to test me really, because they know it's more harm to their career to try to.
Right.
But somehow he doesn't realize that about his own career, which is just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. Do you think that you mentioned you thought it was a pretty good take that he could be a big part of the team's turnaround? I mean, right now the Warriors are sitting at, I did have their record up somewhere. It's pretty
They're looking
salty.
a little better. Yeah. They were looking better for a
salty.
second. They dropped a lot, and then I think they're right side up at least now.
They are.
But I think it's been better since he's been gone, if I remember right.
They're 17 and 19 right
Nope.
now
Okay, I was gone. I was wrong.
in the 12 spot. Yeah, their last 10, they're 5-5. So they're right behind your Jazz, right behind the Jazz and the Lakers. But they're definitely within shot mathematically, and I mean all odds.
Oh yeah, I mean
they play
a
good
tightly
ball.
packed
They're in
conference.
there.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
a tightly packed conference for sure. They're not the Spurs.
What odds do you give them in making the playoffs right here, right now, knowing what we know?
Okay, so teams I think are for sure in the playoffs in the West: Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets, Clippers, Mavericks. So that's 5 spots right
Not
there.
the Kings, huh? Not the Kings.
I think the Lakers are for sure in. No, I'm going like totally for sure. So totally for sure, I got 5. And then I think I have faith in the Lakers to get it done. I have faith in the Kings to get it done. So that puts us at 7. So do you mean play in or do you mean getting an actual playoff spot?
Let's say the play in just for the sake of maybe you
Yeah,
saying
yeah. I think
yes.
it's a high likelihood they get into the play in. I think I see the Rockets dropping off, and I see the Pelicans dropping off. Now, the Pelicans won't drop off if Zion remains healthy. That's just, I have no faith in that yet, but he's been good this season. I mean, he's played a lot. I think he's played 30 games or something like that this season. So far, so good. Maybe one of his best starts ever. The other team you have to watch out for is the Grizzlies. Started out really, really bad, but on really a run since John Morant has been back. Won their first 4 games with him back, 6-4 in their last 10. They're they're another team that could run up there. They've been the 2 or 3 seed in the West for a few years now. They might have started out a little too slow this year. I don't know, but I think that if I'm going to look at it and say of the teams of the savvy vet teams, that kind of like now or never teams, which I would categorize as the Warriors, the Lakers, the Suns, and the Clippers, I probably have the least faith in the Warriors at this moment.
Wow. But they
A
do
lot
make
of
the
people would
play.
say the Lakers. A lot of people would say the Lakers. I just kind of think like I'll never count out the Lakers. I'll
Wow.
never count out the
LeBron over
LeBron
Steph, huh?
Lakers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I don't know. Not that the league doesn't love the Warriors, but I just, you think that the Golden Boy's not going to be in the playoffs? Come on. What are we
Yeah.
talking about
I
here?
mean, I get you, John. So any other cracks you need to fill in this story before we move on? I liked your takes on Draymond.
No. I am sick of him. I hope some other team baits him into a fight and he is out for the rest of the season, and then the Warriors just move on from him because he's too much of a liability and his career is over. Because
I
I
mean,
think he'll go into reality television or something like that. That's fine. But
yeah.
I don't want him in the league anymore.
Yeah, I do think that while this does hit the right notes, I did think it was mostly performative, and I think that person was kind of right that he is trying to build himself up for a media career. So I
Mhm.
mean, but good on him. That's smart. At least he's smart about that career, just
Yeah.
not about his basketball career. So
Right.
good luck to you, Draymond. Wish nothing but the best for you. But yeah, don't ruin the Dubs' chance at going to the playoffs. How about
Yeah.
that?
Stop ruining basketball. I like basketball. All
So, John,
right.
I think you have something for us coming
I
up
do. I got
next.
something for you. Give me 1 second here to get it up.
Hey, by the way, oh yeah, you can get it up for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, I have no problem getting it up for you. It gets up real fast for you. Just for
all
you,
right,
though.
all right, go ahead, hit us with it.
All right. So I got to make sure that you're going to be able to hear this. So let me unmute. So this is JJ Redick. I really like this because JJ Redick is great at breaking down the game. Before we get into this, Casey, how would you categorize today's defense, NBA defense? I can remove this for a second while we talk about this. How would you categorize today's NBA defense versus past generations? Would you say
Personally,
it's
I don't know.
worse? They don't play as hard on defense now.
I think it's complicated for sure, right? I think that's like the narrative, at least, right? That's what people insinuate.
Was the
I
league
will say
tougher?
this.
Was the league tougher in the 90s?
I mean, the guys were probably tougher guys. I mean, just personality wise, I like to think of that. Yeah, because they were probably
Why?
less. They were inferior athletes, right? Because I don't know, people practice their whole lives and train their whole lives to be professional athletes now. But I think in those days, then what made that cream rise to the top? Probably a tougher mentality did play a part in that, at least on a scale of large numbers types of way.
Mhm.
I believe in that. But
Yeah.
if the defense is, I don't think that's correlative
Do you
perfectly to
think that the
how good the
generation
defense.
before them was even tougher?
Probably, right? I
So
mean,
you're basically just of the mindset that each successive generation is softer than the previous
I mean,
in probably all aspects of life.
barring world wars, things like that, Great
Mhm.
Depressions, things like that, probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is JJ Redick's response to that. Most people think, defense is soft now, it's easy to score now, that kind of stuff. So let's get into this. Make sure. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Happening? Why is the offensive rating going up? Why is it harder and harder to get stops. Let's start with a 3-point shot. Going back to 2013, 2014, teams on average are shooting 13 more 3-point attempts per game than they were 10 years ago. Despite the fact that free throws are way down, drives have increased. They've increased almost 50% on average. The Thunder this year, they're averaging 61 drives a game. 10 years ago, teams averaged around 34 drives per game. They're putting pressure on the rim. You're forced to have help with the spacing, which leads to more threes, points in the paint. Teams are scoring almost 8 more points in the paint on average in today's NBA than they were 10 years ago, despite the fact that everyone complains that all we do is shoot threes. Driving kicks. 10 years ago, teams scored 0.89 points per possession on driving kicks. Today, it's 1.03 points per possession on driving kicks. Again, despite the fact that the 3-point percentage has barely moved. It's barely increased. We're just taking more of them. And because of the threat of the three, we're getting to the rim more and scoring at the rim more. The other thing all that spacing has done, it has given the best players the opportunity to operate in space, to isolate in space, not in tight quarters. This is why it's harder than ever to guard. This is why it's harder than ever to get stops. There's too much space. Guys are shooting deep threes. And guys are shooting threes off the dribble. The argument that players today are getting to the free throw line more because they're flopping, it's not exactly true. Free throw rates across the NBA have gone down every single decade since 1980. The point in all this is teams have gotten smarter. Analytics have driven so much of this offensive movement in the NBA. We're taking better shots. We're taking higher quality shots. The 96-97 Bulls, who won 69 games and won an NBA championship, had the best offense. This year, they'd have the 22nd best offense by numbers. So whenever someone tells you a player from a different era would kill it in today's NBA, they're probably right, because Michael Jordan never had this kind of spacing. The ability to put lineups on the court with all 5 guys being able to space to 3, sometimes at least 4, and then that space creating lanes to drive the basketball. That ultimately is what is driving the increase in offensive rating. It's not because NBA players don't want to get stops. What gives? What's happening? Why is the
Okay, lots to unpack there, but I love that he does this because he breaks down, like he does this kind of stuff regularly, kind of hits on some common misconceptions of the league. But initial reactions, like what were the most surprising things from that to you? Because there's a few things in there that surprised me for sure.
Most surprising. I love the shot chart that he showed. That's the visual that stood out to me the most by far.
Yeah.
Really surprising. Now, like I guess we've basically
Free
seen
throws.
the
Go ahead.
eradication of the like baseline mid-range shot is gone.
Really,
right?
any kind of mid-range shot. I mean, there's
Right, but I mean,
elbow jumpers still and stuff.
I was surprised that's where most of the mid-range was from. Actually, it was like the
Yep.
baseline. I didn't.
It was a lot
really
of
think of
back to the basket, turnaround,
Right,
fadeaways.
exactly. Yeah. Or
Yep.
like with a lot of movement going on, and like you can visualize the shots that happen from there for sure.
Right.
And even just that style of shot is more or less gone. Right, it's right near the rim if they're taking shots like that. And I think that goes to his point. Like their teams are getting smarter. The thing I disagreed with the most, that's still kind of surprising and such a good take. And he didn't fully come off of this, but he tried to disprove the like flopping narrative. If you think that players are from it, he said it's not fully true, or it's not like 100% true or something like that.
Yeah.
Which sure, I guess that he's right in that, but that's part of being smarter, right? If you can get free fouls by flopping, I think players are flopping more than they used to too. With everything he said, I think players are also flopping more. That's a part of smarter too. I mean, if you can get more free throws, why not? Basically, we're just taking shots more from all over the place. The league is more offensive focused. I defy you to find a sport that's not true in, though, compared to that time frame he's referencing. So
Yep, hard disagree. Hard disagree that players are flopping more. That is the common misconception, I think, and I think it's a misconception. I think it's born of nostalgia. It's born of like the last time we really watched. A lot of people skipped a generation of basketball. So from about maybe 04, the Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant type of era, and they still had time after that till about, maybe 16, 17, 18. A lot of people just skipped that whole generation of basketball, and then they came back to it and they're like, guys are flopping more. Well, it's like, well, or you were a kid the last time you watched basketball, or you just have nostalgia about, what basketball used to be, and players were always flopping. We drive, drives have increased 50% and free throw rates have decreased. So if they are flopping, they're not doing a good job of it.
Well, I mean, you could also make the argument that defenders are playing like less aggressive, like blatantly fouling defense too. It's just two sides to that coin too.
So this is another thing he always says. People say the game was more physical in the 90s. They mean one thing when they say that, and only one thing is true about that take, and that is they fouled harder.
Yeah, the Jordan rules, basically. Just Jordan rules.
The Jordan rules, and that's like pretty much like they knocked you down when you went up if you were Michael Jordan, and people remember that, right? But you also have to understand that like people couldn't watch as much basketball in the 90s, right? It was like very, or even the 2000s, they're limited to what's on TV, and there's not like basketball everywhere, and you can only watch full games. When you're only watching a full game, like you're just not noticing as much. Versus now, mostly people are watching highlights. They watch a whole game and they're like, these guys are flopping all the time. It's like, well, it's because you don't watch full games anymore like you did when it was 2004. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot there. I think the free throw percentage is really surprising to me, and the drives and points in the paint. So the two things to me, we score more points in the paint now, and we drive to the basket more, and we shoot free throws less. I think those are all things that nobody would guess about today's NBA.
Well, so he did. I mean, I only listened to that one time, but we score. I don't remember the number he said. More points in the paint on average.
Eight more points in the paint on average.
Is that relatively still more than scoring is up?
Scoring's not up.
Okay. Well, then obviously it is relatively up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that. So wait, how does this all, in your mind, go back to the original question of is defense better now than it used to be?
Well, like, why does any of this matter? No, I don't think defense is worse. Like people say that they tried in the 90s or that they played better defense. I think this is the same argument as like the college basketball thing where it's like, oh, they play harder, they play better defense. No, they're just not as good. Like they just can't hit threes from 30 feet away. They're just not as good at scoring. It's easier to get stops when guys aren't as good at scoring. When you can run a 2-3 zone and get to the freaking Final Four, it's just easier. So
because they were playing against plumbers, right, John?
Yeah. No, I don't, I don't think they were playing against plumbers since whatever, 40s or 50s, but the game has gotten better. And I do like that he put in there because to pull this back up really quick, to hit on some comments. So this guy says, one of the comments says, you might not be able to see this very well, but one of the top comments is the MJ fanatics will never want to hear this. They hang their hats on the delusion that defense being tougher back then and no one today having any footwork on the block. I also disagree. The defense was tougher back then. I think they fouled harder and that was about it. But I also think they were bad at moving laterally. I think they were like slower on defense. I think they just like kind of
rules.
Yeah. They could only play, like they could only double or move away, but they could hand check. So they pushed you around more on defense. And Law says Jokic is going to the line 20 times on a Christmas Day game. Worst thing I've ever watched. Yeah, I mean, great. Thank you for the isolated piece of data. Like that does nothing to prove the point. I think maybe the higher level point there is essentially that like it really feels like a bummer when you're watching a game and that happens. But how old is this kid? Like was he watching games in the 90s? Because that happened then too. It happened in the 2000s. It's always happened. We just don't remember it because we're more nostalgic about that era.
I'll say this about MJ. Like I don't think it's gone so far as to say that Michael Jordan certainly faced elite defenders, right? Like even by today's standards, I would say, because he's still Michael Jordan. He was D'd up by the best defensive player on the other team, right? So like, I mean, I don't think it does take away from greats of the past to look at stuff like this and admit that they're better. They're just better at basketball now for sure.
Yep.
And I think the discussion really is proportionately what has gotten better the fastest, and that's kind of where the arguments are. And I think there's good arguments to be made about a lot of things, because there's stuff that's surprising to me. Like I said, the shot selection is crazy different. I would argue that's probably the main improvement is they're taking so much better shots in general than they ever did in the past.
And here's the thing. I know we're all nostalgic about Michael Jordan, and Kobe and Allen Iverson. And look, I loved watching them, but legit, I'm telling you right now, go back and pick 5 regular season games from the 90s or the 2000s and watch them. And I promise you, you will be so bored watching them pack together in this like tight little inside they'll got 5 guys packing 10 guys inside the 3-point line doing these tight little screens and then shooting 16 footers. Like, you will be so bored. Or watching Karl Malone like pop 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 turn around fade away off the glass 15-16 times a game. Kevin Garnett doing the same thing, Kobe doing the same thing. Like, I loved the era, don't get me wrong, but basketball is so much better now. Like, it's so much more fun to watch now. If you go back, you will realize it, that yeah, like, not only have we gotten smarter, the game's also just gotten better for spectators. Guys aren't worse at defending. I would argue guys are better than at defending. They're more athletic. They have to do a lot more on deep. Like, they have to cover more space. I don't know. I think my main overlying point here is like, guys, the game is better now. Like, I'm not even saying MJ isn't as good as LeBron or any of that. It's not the GOAT argument. It's just that the game's better now. We don't have to, we can still love the era without having to be overly nostalgic and be like, the game sucks now.
Right. Right. I mean, there were people in that time saying that the game was better when Wilt played, right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Faced.
I mean,
I don't know that for sure either. I just made the assumption.
Here's what I was thinking a couple weeks ago after we had this, like, that whole Wilt versus MJ thing on like the 4-hour episode that we did. Like, in our minds, the players in the 90s, we were like, they were hard. The dudes now are way softer because the dudes now are our age or even younger than us. In Wilt's era, they probably thought the Michael Jordan people were like, well, you freaking 70s hippie kids. Like, you never even had to crawl into a tunnel in Vietnam and stab a Vietnamese dude. Like,
and that's what I
do. Yeah.
That's what I do think is true still, honestly. Like, personality wise, what they're willing to put up with and stuff. I think the threshold is lowered now. They are more dramatic now, I would say. You know what I mean? Like, take like a guy like Draymond that we started the episode off with, right? Just by what you would read on paper about the guy, he sounds custom built to go play in the 90s, or maybe not even
be like a normal player.
The narrative of what the 90s were, right? Like, oh, he's dirty. He kind of he'll get in there. He's going to be rough. He's going to be a Dennis Rodman almost, right? But honestly, if you put Draymond Green into the same role as Dennis Rodman, on that same, if you could teleport him in and put him in Dennis Rodman's body, I think we would see the difference. I don't think he is that guy, really. I think he's a little bit more. It's just that's more today too. Is a little bit more showy.
I think
money where his mouth is.
This is what it is, honestly, and this is not even part of the game. I think they let him fight more in past. And then the Malice at the Palace happened, and they said, no more fighting. We cannot fight. This isn't hockey. We can't have that happen again, because that was dangerous. Like, people's lives were at risk. So, yeah, I mean, they used to let him fight more. I think that, and does that make him like tougher, harder? Maybe. Maybe
it does change the game a little bit too, right?
Sure.
It does. I mean, you're thinking about different stuff when you are driving. You're thinking about
you're thinking about like Bill Laimbeer might break my neck on this drive.
Yeah,
And
honestly, the people
could be the last NBA play of my career.
And honestly, in that time, I'm still trying to just give glory to those guys, but it's for the reasons they actually should deserve it. The people who thrive in that environment aren't the people who are like, yeah, Bill Laimbeer is going to break my collarbone. They're people who go, I don't care what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan got knocked out of the air how many hundreds of times? He goes, I don't care. I live in the air. I'm Air Jordan, baby. Like, so I do think there is a certain aspect of like Kobe Bryant would have done fine, right? The guys with that mentality would have been fine.
Every era, I think, would do fine in every era. Yeah.
I completely agree with that statement. I do think that era specifically, the mentality does come into play a little bit more probably than the skill, because that's how great players emerged, probably more so than today. Now the most elite people are the most skilled. I think that's probably more true.
It was a very cool era where skills started to advance really quickly, especially shooting skills and dribbling skills, specifically dribbling and shooting. And so yet you still had, like, in the eras before that, they almost couldn't be as physical because they weren't as good at ball handling. Like, they just passed, the ball was in the air a lot more, right? And so we got to this era where it's like, we can hold the ball, we can dribble the ball. And then, so they were like able to be more physical. And then, sort of now they're like even more skilled, and the rules have shifted to be like, hey, we can't let you guys fight anymore. So we're more smart now, and guys can shoot from further away and all this stuff. So it was a really fun era in that sense that like before that, specifically ball handling wasn't as good but for most.
Yeah.
And so it couldn't be as physical. So then we got this very physical era in the like late 80s to early 2000s because people were really good dribblers. And then it kind of has calmed back down. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not taking anything away from anybody. Every era is great, but like I think that we need to stop calling this era soft. We need to stop saying that like the narrative that guys aren't trying to play defense, aren't trying to get stops. No, like nobody was shooting from 30 feet away in the 90s. Nobody was doing that.
There might be a case to be made that you had more roster spots from that era specifically for guys who were more defensive specialists. Maybe, I don't even know if that's totally true, but I could see that argument at least, because now the league, it probably does revolve around scoring. Scoring is weighed quite a bit heavier. Having a 3-point shot is weighed pretty heavily, right? So back then they probably didn't quite as much. I just saw a comment in our live chat that reminded me of something too. The big guys, especially now, there's guys who can shoot the 3-ball. This reminds me of early day UFC, which you couldn't say those guys weren't tough, weren't good fighters, weren't strong, all that, but they don't compare to like what the UFC turns out now.
Not as good.
Not as good, but specifically in the way that you have complete fighters now, right? You have kids who grow up being fans of MMA, who learn multiple schools of fighting all the way through their career. So they have ground game, they have stand-up game, and within those they have different verticals too. I think there's a similar parallel in NBA where you had guards back in the day, right? You had big kids who would just be enforcers down below. Now you can't get by as much without being more well-rounded. And we're seeing absolute freaks like a guy like Wemby, for example, who comes out and you're like, name a tool that's not in his tool bag, Right. And he would have been a freak in any generation of the game, probably. So,
yeah, no, they're more complete players now. We've gotten smarter and better at the game. That's really it. I mean, to your point
that's my main takeaway too. The brain's gotten smarter.
To your point about like, the players that thrived in that era are the ones that didn't care if Bill Laimbeer was going to break their collarbone. It's like, yeah, they went in there like, well, if he breaks my collarbone, I guess I'll shoot the free throw with my left hand then.
I mean, I like that being the glory of the old days. I like that. That's what we should.
We can leave it in Nostalgiaville,
Exactly. I don't think that the current NBA players have that mentality, nor do I think they should.
Yeah, it's more fun to watch it this way, and we can still be nostalgic about it though. All right, let's go on to one more thing I got. Last thing of the day, little lightning round for you, Casey. Gonna be a blind ranking. Let's rate the best all-time NBA duo, but it's blind. Okay. All right. So first up, out of the gate, I'm gonna give you a duo. There's 5 of them.
You're gonna tell me how many? 5. Okay. I just need
5 of them, 1 through 5. Somebody watching this, so this is going to turn into a short for you guys watching the long form. Somebody watching this video is going to win some money. You're going to win them some money. You're going to win someone watching this video some money, but I can't tell you how until the end of the video. All right. So first duo. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Bro, you start off with the Splash Bros.
Yeah.
Oh man, and this is all-time NBA duos.
All-time NBA duos. Dude, I'm talking all time. Like we could be going back to Kuzi and Bill Russell.
I think that I'm gonna go with what I was more than likely gonna do anyway, if it was anything that I thought could fit here, and go with the 3 spot. I think
the 3 spot.
It feels like it's the most safe to operate from, just blindly. I don't know what you've put in here, so
yeah,
I cut it in half.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the medium.
Love it or hate it.
Next up, Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh, and
this is the mid 2000s Nuggets, and this team had good playoff runs. They just happened to be good at the same time as the Spurs and the Lakers.
I was gonna say, don't think I didn't notice your subtle that NBA fan you described, who took a generation off, basically. I mean, yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah. So Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony is like, ooh.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
I mean, obviously, I can't take anything away from those guys, right? Like, I know the legacies they leave behind, right?
Right.
As a combo, though, I mean, call it bias or whatever. I'm gonna all time, all
All
time.
time.
Oh man, they're definitely going in the southern hemisphere. But do they live on Antarctica or in Brazil?
The Southern Hemisphere. It's wild.
I mean, I'm gonna do these guys dirty. You're right. I'm gonna play the era game, and yeah, I'm gonna put them at the 5. I think you've
Oh,
stacked the deck. I think you've stacked the deck. I think you
okay.
have. I think you have.
Next up, Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce.
Okay.
2000, late 2000s Celtics.
Yeah.
08,
Yeah.
08 Celtics, baby. Big 3 and then 4 with Rondo.
Yeah. This is gonna be. I'm still having faith that you've water. I think the best is yet to come. These guys are going in the 4 spot.
Next up, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
Okay. Now we're talking, baby. Now we're talking. I'm just playing a guessing game completely on where you're going with the last one here. So I'm gonna throw them in the 2 spot.
Ooh. Okay, well, this is interesting. Where do you think I'm going with the last one?
Oh man, I don't like that. That's not the game, John. That's not what the game is.
Okay.
But it feels to me, and this is even controversial, even if I'm right that this is who it is, still controversial. I put him ahead of MJ and Scotty. But
Yeah.
I think there's two that you could have put in here. I'm actually surprised that one of these isn't included, no matter how you did it.
Yep.
I originally was thinking Kobe and Shaq,
Okay.
but I kind of almost forgot about Stockton and Malone too. So either one of those going into the 1 spot, I would feel okay about. Okay,
Over Pippen and Jordan. Okay, last
only
one.
one.
Then.
Only one of them do I feel pretty good about it.
Last one going into the 1 spot. Shaq and Kobe, baby.
Let's put them in the 1. That is the
Go
one
to
I
the
was
1.
banking on the most. I don't hate that over. I don't hate where I landed, honestly.
Malone Stockton in the 1 spot. Malone Stockton in the 1 spot over Pippen and Jordan would have been wild, dude.
No, it would have been
so bad.
It wouldn't have been good, but I didn't get nervous until I thought about that.
It would have been
I was
egregious.
I was thinking Shaq and Kobe and Shaq.
There's only one duo that could take the 1 spot over Pippen and Jordan. The fact that you didn't put Pippen and Jordan in the 1 spot is crazy to me. There's only one duo, and that's Kuzi and Russell.
Bro, I don't know. Wait, hold on. Where would you put Shaq and Kobe then?
So here's how somebody wins money. However many of these you got correct, there was right answers and wrong answers. There was right answers and wrong answers. However many of these ones you got right, somebody in the comments wins $25 for saying who their favorite all-time NBA duo. The 1 spot, you had Shaq and Kobe. The correct answer was Pippen and Jordan.
I can't believe we see opposite on that. That's, I don't know. To me, the Shaq and Kobe were the Lakers, basically, right? And I think Jordan is a little bit more one-sided in the equation. Call me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in the years Michael Jordan wasn't playing basketball, Pippen was like the second best player in the league behind Hakeem, which is essentially what Kobe was, probably a top 5 player behind Shaq and some other guys.
Yeah, but in the years he was there, I mean, he was still great too. We're splitting hairs. honestly.
It's Pippen and Jordan. It's Pippen and Jordan. Championships got to come into play a little bit, you know.
I get you. Hey, no disrespect.
Also, the Kobe and Shaq, it's a big smirch. It's a big mark on the record that they lost to those 2004 Pistons.
Wait, how many
against Pippen and
rings?
Jordan?
They had 2 rings, right? 3. Yeah, 3. So okay. Yeah, you're right. They were terrible. They sucked.
Half as many as Pippen and Jordan.
Okay, that sounds bad when you say it like that.
50%. But here, I actually thought you'd fight me on this next one. All right. So second, you have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. The correct answer was Shaq and Kobe.
Okay. Well, I mean, all right.
But I'm shocked because in the 3 spot, you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. The correct answer is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So congratulations, you won $25 for somebody in the comments. But I'm shocked that you're not fighting for Steph and Klay in the 2 spot. What kind of Warriors fan are you? They've got 5 championships together.
Somebody wants some money. Yeah. Hey, listen. I think there's some recency bias in here as well. It's tough watching. I mean, I hate to say this,
dude,
but
it's tough watching Clay these days.
it's tough watching Clay out there right now.
Just to throw this out there, it was real tough watching Shaq in like 2010 to 2012.
But
was
he
so
wasn't even
hard.
on the. Was he still on the Lakers then? No, right?
No,
I mean, you're talking post.
not on the Lakers. Yeah, just generally as a guy who could make it up and down the court.
That's actually the best case you could have made for maybe Clay shouldn't be a Warrior anymore. You know, like you're kind of just dirty in the legacy. You know, like nobody remembers what you did on those. Like Shaquille O'Neal went on a tour of the whole NBA, didn't he? In the last few years of his career.
Yeah,
you say stuff like you told me that he was. I don't even remember the team you said that. I was like, "There's no way that's true."
He was a Celtic. He was a Cav. He was a Sun.
Yeah, a Cav, I think is what it was. I was like, he was
on the Cavs with LeBron, dude.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
Why aren't they on here? What do you mean? LeBron,
LeBron's duo would have to be D Wade, I think, but I didn't.
Obvious. Oh, that'd be a good one too.
I know. Okay. In the 4 spot, you put Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. The correct answer was Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. Congratulations, you won somebody in the comments money if they comment their favorite NBA duo of all time. And of course, in the 5 spot, that means you put Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. And the correct answer was Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. You got 3 of 5, Casey, and I am surprised. I thought you would for sure put Steph and Clay in the 2 spot because in your mind, once I said duos, I thought in your mind, duo number 1, Pippen and Jordan, duo number 2, Steph and Clay, and anyone else you throw at me, I have an argument for Steph and Clay because they got 5 rings together.
They're phenomenal. I don't go off of rings so much for the duos thing, I guess. I mean, obviously, it was a factor, but
those Kevin Durant rings are tough. Those are like half rings for the duo, you know. They only get half credit as a duo for those ones.
Can I say something controversial here?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we're deep into the episode now, so yeah.
At least it'll be controversial to you. Well, let me ask you this. If I wasn't doing that blind, if you handed that to me, those 5, rank these 5, not blind, seeing sight abled rankings,
I would have thought you would have ranked it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Who would have landed in a different spot according to me in your mind?
I think Shaq and Kobe in the 2 spot and Steph and Clay in the 3 spot would have flip flopped. In your mind, that would have been my guess. It would have been wrong.
Have them in the 2 spot, so
it would have been wrong.
Yeah,
but you also, the ones that you flipped,
thought I would.
Where you landed, are you happy with where you landed? If you would have known what it was ahead.
Controversial thing, and I wasn't using any criteria other than my soul. Okay. You know, just like feeling it, especially in the blind rankings, you kind of just have to.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's coming, so you have no idea what to base things off of.
Yep.
I like where I ended up. I still like it, you know, without doing any investigation into numbers and things like that. Just how it felt off the rip felt pretty good, and maybe that's because how we got there with the blindness. But I felt like it went okay. I think
you
Shaq
would
and
stand
Kobe
by the Shaq and Kobe in the 1 spot.
I think Shaq and Kobe are candidates for the best duo of all time. I think they are.
It's Pippen and Jordan. It just is. The only argument against them would be Kuzma
Dennis Rodman involved. I think Dennis Rodman was more.
You're talking about Dennis Rodman's like the Draymond Green of that time. Like he's not like a Kevin Durant. Like he's not. Like the Lakers had Derek Fisher. All right. Yeah. They got Dennis Rodman. We got Derek Fisher. We're good.
You know what? I love the arguments you're making. And
you got Robert Horry.
It's like you're pulling me towards where I wanted to be anyway. So yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
You wanted
the
to
Chicago
be in the
Bulls
place,
and Michael
Casey.
Jordan were the best basketball team ever. They played the best defense. They played against the best defenses. They were the best scoring. All that.
You know what? I think we just preface this thing with the game isn't better, isn't worse now, and so
you accepted the idea in my brain.
I accepted the idea, but the correct answer is the answer you want, Casey. It's Pippen and Jordan at the 1, Shaq and Kobe at the 2, and then the rest of the ones you said.
Actually, another great comment in the chat. John, think about it like this, though, to try to argue my side. Would you rather face Shaq and Kobe or Jordan and Pippen if you were going up against them?
I mean, would rather face Shaq and Kobe. You tell me you want to face Michael Jordan?
Shaq, though. Like, Shaq is a different element. You have to prepare for.
We're talking about Michael Jordan.
I know.
You're talking about Michael Jordan. You're just like, yeah, I'd rather face
know.
Shaq
I know.
than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's going to give you 60.
Let me ask you this. And I think we can, because I want to end on a note that we agree on at least, just so we can find some common ground here. You see, obviously, Michael Jordan is the A side of that tandem. I think that at least the Bryant O'Neal tandem, they're closer. So
when they were together,
Shaq
Shaq
is the A
definitely
side, right?
Shaq was the most dominant player in the league when they were
Fair.
together.
That's totally fair. So the question then is Kobe Bryant in that time frame better or worse than Scottie Pippen was in the other time?
Same and maybe worse.
Kobe?
Yeah. Scottie
don't know
didn't
if I
get
like
as
that
much.
pick. I don't know
Scottie
if I
didn't
like
get
that
a lot of
pick.
credit. Kobe was great as a
fair.
career. Scottie didn't get a lot of credit because he played with Jordan. But I'm telling you, in the years that Jordan wasn't there, they made the Eastern Conference Finals. He was an MVP candidate. He was second in voting for the MVP behind Hakeem, who won championships in those years. Like he was I don't know, what do you want to call it? He was Hakeem was the Jokic and he was the Luka. Like that's how good he was.
All right. Hey, I'm not even a Lakers fan, so this is actually music to my ears.
I can't believe I'm trying to convince you that Pippen and Jordan are the best duo.
It's that exact thing that you claimed, where I'm that fan who skipped the generation. Like when I kind of went out of basketball for a while, the Lakers seemed like they were about to go on a 30-year dynasty. Like it was just over. The Shaq and Kobe days. That's pretty much right when I got out of basketball for a second.
Dude, I'm just saying
they looked unstoppable.
Shaq and Kobe gathered Karl Malone and Gary Payton onto a team that had won 3 championships. And then they lost to a Detroit Pistons team that didn't have a freaking all-star on it in the finals. Yeah. Like that's a pretty big.
Those guys aren't as good as Robert Horry and Derek Fisher. So
that's the problem.
Yeah. Gary Payton sucks compared to Derek Fisher, and Karl Malone sucks compared to Robert Horry.
Yeah. Yeah. And people say, but Gary Payton and Karl Malone were old. Yeah, well, Shaq and Kobe were in their prime, so I don't want to hear it.
They're pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good.
All right. Well, that's the pod, man. This was a good time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube. We give stuff away on every episode. Go into the comments and comment on the things that we said to comment on, and you could win. You could be one of the $25 winners. That's how it works. Also, join us live sometime. If you're watching live on YouTube right now, there's a link in the description to playback.tv/triplecross. We're about to give our live viewers some stuff. We're about to give away some gift cards to them. So yeah, join us live. And that's it. Casey.
John,
go ahead.
One last question to end the show. Where does Stockton and Malone fall into that exercise?
I think they fall definitely above Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. It hurts my soul to say it, but I personally think they're above Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, but I can understand why people would not put them above Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, and people might be right.
John, I got them above them. I
appreciate that.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Probably not.
You got my back. I appreciate it. All right, that's it. That's the pod. I'm gonna hit the end of the live now. Bye.